Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be taking you through the first week of 2026 in my hobonichi. The beginning of the year is always so fun in my journal. Everything feels so new and fresh, and I'm so motivated to write in the new year. It's just the best. I'm going to actually start out on January 2nd. That's the first, quote, normal day for me. New Year's Day is always a write-off. I think we watched like 3 movies that day. 2 of them I think were from Twilight. Maybe even all 3 of them were from Twilight. But I did have an amazing dinner that night, so that's something. But on the morning of the 2nd, my roommate and I headed down to Philly for our friend's birthday party. She throws one every year, usually like an apartment party with a different theme. And this year the theme was Sex and the City. So she had all of these different scenes and quotes from the show taped up all over her walls. I wish I had like pictures of this, but basically she printed out like screen caps of the funniest quotes from the show. And at the end of the night, she was like handing them out to people when they were leaving. It was super cute. She also always has such a huge turnout for her birthdays. There were a ton of people there, and I feel like we always end up going to bed at like 3 or 4 a.m. So we took the next day very slowly. I did some audio syncing for a short film I'm editing, and my roommate took a nap, and then we were finally reinvigorated for dinner. The original plan that we had was that we were gonna go out after we went to dinner, but after eating, everyone was just like so full and tired, and I think still kind of wiped from the day before. So we went back to Anna's and we just like gossiped all night, and honestly it was like so much more fun than getting in an Uber and going out in Center City, you know? The stickers I used for this spread are from my latest Korea haul. I got them in a little grab bag, and I really like the pink theme for these 2 days. At first glance, the trip between New York City and Philly seems like it should be really easy, but as the years go on and we make this trip like once or twice a year, it's just so exhausting. It's mostly the trip back, like knowing I have to get in the Uber to go to the 30th Street station and then get on Amtrak and then get off at Penn Station in New York and then get on the train. Like, it sounds so simple, and it is really simple, but that Sunday trip back, whew, and you can tell that like everyone else on the Amtrak with you is like so tired. Or if we're going all the way to the Hamilton, New Jersey transit station, that's an even bigger process. That's an even longer drive to that station. Usually Anna will take us there because she's the best, but then that is like also a very long trip home. But it's so worth it to get to go and stay for the weekend, and every year I have so much fun. It's so great to see her. This picture on the top left is me recounting some very juicy details of my summer. We all kind of like went around the room and just told like the funniest stories we could think of. And that moment was captured. It's such a funny picture. So that was January 2nd and 3rd. And then on the 4th, once we got back to New York, we kind of settled in for the night, got some dinner, and then we had an impromptu heated rivalry marathon. I had been seeing rumblings of this on Twitter, but I am so bad at keeping up with TV, especially new TV. And I really have to be strong-armed into watching a new TV show. I don't know why. Like, for example, it took me 3 years to watch Bridgerton, even though I had a feeling I would enjoy it. Like, it's right up my alley, but for some reason, like, I just can't make myself do it. I'm so much more of a movie person. I think it's the added urgency with movies. Like, I always want to go see movies in theaters before they leave. So that's always what I'm doing and what I'm keeping up with. And also, if someone is like, oh, you should go see this movie in theaters, it was so amazing, you'd love it, I know that that's only like a 2-hour time commitment versus like when someone wants me to watch a TV show and I have to watch like 10 episodes and they're like, oh, it's not going to get good until episode 3. And it's like, okay, well, I'm just watching this alone in my room on a laptop or like alone in my living room. It's not the same as going to a movie theater. And I feel like being in the movie theater and like not being able to be on my phone, being only focused on the movie, like that's how I should be consuming all media. But honestly, that's kind of what we were doing with this marathon because we became so locked in immediately. It was me and my roommate and my roommate's boyfriend, and I think we took a break after episode 3 to get some dinner, and then we immediately like sat down and finished the show. Like when I said earlier we got dinner first and then watched, I was misremembering. I'm now remembering that we watched like half the show, went and got dinner, and then immediately sat down and we're like, okay, let's lock in, let's finish the show. It was so incredible. I had no idea what I was in for. I was thinking that it was going to be like a silly, like kind of sexy show. I had no idea the emotional roller coaster that I was about to experience. I knew that it was a book, but I've never read the book. I've said in previous videos, I don't tend to read contemporary romances. Like, I don't know, they don't do much for me. I think going into a book when I know that it's about just a romance, when I know the romance is the plot, like it just kind of takes away from the intrigue of the book for me. Like, I'd rather have the romance be the B plot and you're kind of wondering as you're reading if it's going to happen or not. So that's why I don't tend to pick up just straight up romance books. But this was so riveting from start to finish. Like, I was so blown away by this. Even my roommate's boyfriend was like, this is amazing TV. Especially at the end of episode 5, none of us knew what happened in the book, right? So we were experiencing it for the first time. Oh my god, it was so incredible. My roommate was crying. We were cheering out loud like we were watching the Super Bowl. Like it really felt like we were there. It felt like it was happening in real life. And the song that they played at the end of that episode, I have been listening to it so much. Like, it's probably going to be one of my Spotify top songs at the end of the year already at this point. I wrote a little Spotify bubble at the top of the page that you can see. It was so incredible. I know everyone's saying that, but like, it really was so incredible. I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. And I included this little quote from the book, even though I haven't read the books, but I saw people commented this quote on like an Instagram post and I looked it up and read it in context. I think it's such a great description for what Ilya's feeling in that moment, so I wanted to drop that in. And I love this behind the scenes picture of them in their jerseys. It's just so cute. I'm so happy for them too, to be unknown actors and to have this opportunity. I think it's so cool, and they're both so charismatic and obviously made for this. I'm so stoked for season 2. I don't think I'm gonna read the books. I really just want to experience it as a TV show. I know some people on Twitter were kind of like, you should really read the books to prepare for what's coming, but like, I don't want to. I feel like Jacob Tierney is creating the show for both people who have read the novels and people who haven't, so I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to let him take the wheel and I'll experience it the way that he wants me to experience it. So yeah, I'm very stoked about that. So on the 5th, in my heated rivalry hangover, I canceled my ballet class. No, I'm just kidding. I always cancel my classes when it's like the day after I travel. I'm just like too tired to go the next morning. But it was good because I got a lot of editing done that I needed to get done. I'm editing 2 short films at once. It's a little intense. I've never had 2 film projects going at the same time, and they're both on pretty quick schedules. So it's just like a lot of material to go through. And also I wasn't at either of these shoots, so I'm kind of flying blind. I think like the easiest experience is when I've been on the shoot and I'm the person also taking the shot notes, like, you know, marking which takes are good, which takes to disregard, and which takes were the director's favorite. Like that way, like when I go into the edit, it's kind of like a cheat code. Like I already have a lot of selects already chosen, but I don't have that for these two films. So it's been a lot of tedious work and a lot of audio syncing. Oh my gosh. Adobe Premiere has been so finicky lately with audio sync. These are like indie kind of short films, so there's no fancy electronic slate, so I can't just sync everything automatically to time code. So I'm syncing it to like the slate clap itself, and it is just, guys, there's so much footage, there's so many takes, there are so many angles. So that is like sometimes the bulk of the editing process. So I was able to kind of put my head down on this day and get through a lot of footage, but it just takes so long. And as I'm recording this now, like 2 weeks later, there is a third day of filming for one of the films that I didn't have audio for yet. So like I just downloaded the audio today and I'm gonna have to sync all that. Like it takes so long, you guys. Then I can't even just sync the select takes just to start off with. I have to do everything because I don't know which ones are good. Oh my god. But it's fine. We're getting there. I am close to being done with a full rough cut of one of the films, and I think that's going to help me out a lot. The rough cut is always just so tough to get through because it makes me feel like I'm not a good editor because I'm dealing with kind of raw audio. Nothing's color graded. There's no like music yet or sound effects, so everything feels so awkward, even though it's not, you know, it's not the edit yet. It's the rough cut, but that's the stage I'm at right now. So that is what I did on this Monday. These little stickers are like Ratatouille inspired stickers. I've kind of been hoarding them, but I made this like one pasta dish that I love this night. So, and it has basil and tomato in it. So I was like, okay, this is topical for me to use my little Ratatouille stickers here. Getting a lot better at using stickers, if you may have noticed. A lot of good spreads in here, and I'm even using them in spreads that I'm not filming. So I'm determined to really get through a lot of my stuff this year, especially because I just bought tickets for Stationery Fest in July in New York, so I really need to make a dent in the stash before I go to that event. The little bubbles I'm marking off here at the back of the Hobonichi book, those are like where I track the days that I've journaled. I talk about that in my setup video. I will just color in the bubble for that day with like the color of a marker that I used on that day. If I don't use a marker, I'll just use like a pen or a gray marker or whatever. But yeah, I think it's just like an interesting way to keep track of where I've journaled, especially like if I want to go back later in the year and like find gaps and fill them in. That's kind of like a fun way to find everything I need. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't have like a set theme or look in mind yet, like I kind of did with the Hated Rivalry page. I just kind of wanted to like do whatever with it. So I used this cute bunny washi tape that I got quite a while ago. I love using it as a border because it kind of looks like a border on a quilt or a rug or something. Then I have this page of hedgehog stickers that I got in Korea. I wanted to use some of these on my cover when I was setting up this hobonichi, but it like didn't have like the exact right look that I was looking for, so I was glad to use it here. Just kind of a bunch of like cool tones for this spread. This was another day of editing, but I also got to go back to ballet this day. I was in a level 3 class, which is always good. I like going back and forth between level 1 and level 3. Level 1 just helps me focus a lot on my technique because my technique is really bad. Even though I've been going to ballet for like 2 years, it takes so long to improve at ballet. If there's anything that I could say to someone who's thinking of starting, is that you need to have a lot of grace with yourself. It is going to take so long to improve, and the improvements that you see are like the most minuscule things that you'll really not even notice at first until your teacher is like, hey, your foot looks good today. You kind of have to keep yourself motivated by like taking that 1% improvement like once a week. It's not even every day 1%. It's like once a week at most improvement. But I've definitely been seeing more of a difference by going so many times a week. I think I only went 2 times this week, but I am now hitting around 3 times on average. And I think if I could get that to 4, that would be the best schedule for me. It's funny because I went 4 times in 1 week for the first time, I think like a year and a half ago or something, and it was so exhausting. But now that's kind of normal for me. It's not too tough at all. And by the 3rd or 4th day, I feel way stronger. Like on the first day of that schedule, I'll feel so weak and I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to get through this. Like I'm gonna be too tired to go to class on the 3rd day. But it really does make a difference, and it just reminds me that I need to be cross training. If I want to get better at ballet, like I really need to be putting in the work and setting up a schedule for myself where I have time to do like some weightlifting or Pilates or yoga, something, because just going to class is not going to cut it. It doesn't cut it for professionals, and it does not cut it for hobbyists either. Like it really demands quite a lot from you if you want to get better. I've also been able to have a lot of different instructors, which is nice. I like going back to the same people because they're able to track your progress and they know like where your weak spots are, so they can give you really specific instructions. But when you go to a new instructor, often they will find something that your other instructor didn't notice because they're kind of just used to seeing it on you. So there have been a lot of corrections that I've picked up from like one-off instructors that I've been able to implement, and I feel like makes a really big difference in the look of my dancing. I've said this before, that what I love about ballet is that it's kind of black and white. There is a correct way to do things and an incorrect way to do things, and when you do something correctly, you just know because it suddenly just like looks right. Like ballet has a very specific look to the technique, which is part maddening because it's so hard to get that technique correct, but it also doesn't leave like too much room for guesswork. Like you know when you're doing something wrong, and that means that the instructors also know when you're doing something wrong. And I've always been someone who likes to get like a lot of corrections in class. I know that it's kind of intimidating at first, or it sounds intimidating if you're coming in as a beginner to get really specific corrections, and like the teachers will turn to you and point to you and be like, you did this wrong, and then they'll make you do it. But then that is just like it's easy to improve that way, and it's also, I think, kind of good to get called out like that because it makes it less scary when it happens in the future. So that's just my take on it. I also spent part of the evening of the 7th watching my roommate play Return of the Obra Dinn. I played this game about a year ago and I loved it, and thankfully now I've forgotten everything about it so I can enjoy it again. But it's a game developed by Lucas Pope, who was the developer of Papers, Please, which I feel like more people know about Papers, Please, but he also made this game, and it is so incredible. It's like a detective game where you play an inspector, like an insurance inspector in the 1800s, and this ship has returned and it's a ghost ship, and you have to climb aboard and find all of the dead bodies of the crew and basically note how they died. But the only information you have is like through this device that lets you see like a freeze frame of the moment of death of that person, and then you have to do some kind of like guesswork and deductions to figure out what happened to them. I'm getting a lot of deja vu as I talk about this. I feel like I've talked about this before in another video. It might have literally been the last video I made, but I just love the game so much, so I feel like it comes up so often for me. But it's so much fun. The visuals are so crazy, and like the music is so interesting. Like I just want him to make so many more games, but I don't know what he's up to because I think this was the last one and it came out in 2018. So yeah, I just really love it. It's so fun. So I watched her play that for a while, and I tried really hard not to give any hints as to what she should be doing. It's like so hard for me to not be a backseat gamer, especially because I'm the older sibling and she's the younger sibling, not of each other, obviously, but it's that thing about how a younger sibling would always like watch their older sibling play a game and the older siblings playing the game. So it's so hard for me to like not tell her what to do or like take the controller from her, and it's so hard for her not to just like ask me to do it. So, you know, it's a good exercise for both of us. And then our other roommate came home. She had been out all day and she went to like a little pop-up store and saw these cute frog stickers and thought of us. So she brought us some stickers home, and so I put that in my journal, and I feel like it really complements the purple in the titles. So I think it worked perfectly, especially because I left a gap here because I actually recorded this on the day of the 7th. So I hadn't finished out what I was going to say. And then he fit perfectly in there, so it was meant to be. So that was the first week of 2026 in my hobonichi. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that your journaling in the new year is going well so far. stick around maybe. If you'd like, you could like and subscribe. I make a lot of journaling videos. It's one of the main parts of my channel. So if you like this kind of content, there's a lot more where that came from. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.